Chapter 5 A toxic relationship that benefits the perpetrator only.
Trigger warning. Game-ending AK self-deletion references exist in this chapter.
I made a huge mistake in letting CancerChaser become my friend again. I really wish I could take this back very bad now. But I must move on. At a certain point after I made the disastrous decision to rekindle my friendship, CC started sending me pics to forward to his email. Reviewing certain evidence reveals that the earliest incarnation of the emails was March 23, 2017. I cannot describe what the images actually are. I have to leave the reader to the imagination to figure out the contents. I need to be secretive about it for legal reasons. Squared, I will be posting the emails that I still have. The reason I don't have all the emails is for several reasons. I have made 2 more horrifying mistakes on my part. 1. After the next incident, I deleted the emails where I sent the pics to him dating before abusive emails he would soon send me after the incident. There are still paper trails left. 2. I marked his address as spam after the aforementioned incident I mentioned in 1. He automatically deletes emails sent after around 30 days. These mistakes were done because there was a time I really want to ignore him and thought it was a good idea to simply ignore him for a while. I did not anticipate what he would do with information like my phone number or stalking, harassing, abusive behavior that would actually warrant the police. At the time I still thought he would not cross the line. When he became much worse later down the line, I was told to document everything when watching YouTube videos about dealing with harassment. So spam marking became a huge mistake that I regretted. I really wish I had all the evidence now, but some of the evidence is gone just like that. I am providing what I have left. But I still have trace evidence of 2 missteps from a forwarded email dating back from March 23, April 28, 2017, all before May 2017. The email exchanges where I sent him every picture he wanted to forward to his account. I redacted the addresses and the pics themselves, only leaving the fact that pictures were sent. It's interesting that he needs help from someone like me to forward images. I guess his phone is really that outdated. I never knew exactly what phone he uses. I just noticed it did not have a touchscreen. But please note that he needed me to send these photos to his email. There was a time where he even asked me to send that stuff to him and actually called me to make sure I had it sent. It was very important to him because of how out of his way he went to ensure that he received them. I did it all and got nothing in return. Very interesting what he will later say a future email. One weekend, I had something best described as tension between me and certain people in my family. I need to protect my family in this blog because I love them and I need them. We occasionally have disagreements. I am only braining my occasional quarrels with them because some of them tie into CancerChaser. I told CC what was happening to me and my worries of what would happen to me. He told me everything would be okay. Luckily, he was right. But there were times I was punished severely by them, especially as a kid. To further elaborate, some examples are that I permanently lost things by confiscation and had things destroyed in front of me. They have even shifted me out of their home once. CC invited me into his home the next day. I was very emotional that morning. I had strong feelings of anxiety because of the drama with my family. As I was telling CC about my fear and pain, I lost and started screaming about my worries. I had a huge fit of panic and went onto his living room floor. I even talked about taking my own life because of my sad and depressed state. CC comforted me. He calmed me down and made me feel better. This alongside the positive treatment when we first met were the only notable and memorable good things CC has ever done for me. The reason I cannot remember much outside these moments is because of all the bad things CC has done and will be doing. Either here or in future chapters. One day, CC sent me a picture for him to send to his email. It took a few days to send because of more family troubles. My emotions in that instance went so deeply negative that I felt that wanted to pass away again. I had to be in a hospital and it took a few days for me to come home to use my phone again to send the message for CC. At the end of April I went to another convention. With a few hours until the convention ended, I had a major accident. I was on my way from a panel to a gathering for a game tournament. I tripped on some rocks and badly injured my right ankle, the other one, not the one I hurt in Chapter 3. I suffered bad sprains on both sides of the right ankle. The pain was intense and it came after 1 minute of numbness. I could not bear weight, either. The ambulance came for me and this time there no incident. The convention was in a different city than where I live, so I saved from the abused paramedic. There was also police present so I felt safe. When I hurt my ankle, I was convinced that it was broken because I never felt ankle pain this bad. When I arrived at the hospital, I was x-rayed and then they wrapped my ankle in some cast-like wrap. I was told that it was sprained, because no fractures were found in my bones. After that, I was given crutches and I was driven home by family. I need to point out that despite my odd battles with them, my family comes through for me when I am hurt. They also always provide me with needs and took care of me very well whenever I am injured, and the times I injured my ankles were no exception. I love my family very much. The times I had surgery, my family was there for me. I went to specialists 2 days after my injury. I was able to get an appointment for that day. They cut my cast wrap and it revealed some gruesome-looking dark bruises on my sprained ankle. I was given an air cast and elastic bandage. After being checked out, CC passed by right in front of the doctor's office building. We had a conversation, but I have no recollection aside from my injury. I do not remember if he was concerned or not. CC wanted me to come to his home, but I could not physically. CC's apartment was on the 2nd floor, and there was around 20 tough stairs going up. When I was better condition, one of my knees got sharp pain putting pressure heading up those stairs. Going up and down the stairs with crutches and a bad ankle would be too much for me. So I decided to be nice to him again, other stupid mistake in hindsight. Since I was too injured to go up his stairs, I invited him to my home around a week later. I had stairs to my room in my house, but they were easier on me, and by the time CC came over to my home, my ankle has recovered a little bit. I could hardly walk, but I could put some weight on it for some seconds and was on pain medication often. CC came inside. He made his coffee and we sat on the couch. After a bit of talking, we went to my room. I went a little after him and I went there slowly and carefully because of my hurt leg. We spent most of the time there. At one point, he wanted to be left alone. I gave him a lanyard and he seemed to take only to leave it behind. He never reclaimed it. Leaving this for future reference. 6. I then asked if he wanted to play games with me. He was reluctant, stating that he wasn't in the mood, and said next time or next week. I had to convince him, bringing up how I made him happy and how I did favors for him, telling him to please return the favor. So we started playing. The game was Kirby Superstar. The game from the compilation I chose was Spring Breeze. It is important to note how long this game is. A long play of this is 10 minutes. Speedruns of this game range around 3 minutes. I chose this game because it was short and easy, so even the least experienced game player could have a good time and it would be very quick. He asked how to play and I told him that the introduction on screen literally showed you how to play and I did not skip it for him. After the introduction, we started playing. CC did not do much in the first level. I went through the entire first level with him struggling behind. After the first level was done, I looked at him and he seemed to have held the directional stick around diagonal up plus left and pressing no buttons. He also did next to nothing on the second level. He stopped playing with me after the second boss was beaten halfway through the game. He told me that he was leaving. I told him that we were halfway through and he just me left to finish the game myself. We had an argument about this and he left my home, apparently leaving his hat behind. Seriously, if he wasn't not interested at all, he should have told me instead of feigning interest, putting no effort, and literally leaving halfway through. If I was given a task as a favor, I would have put in more of an effort. I would have been grateful if he at least stuck around even if he never did much. I would have been grateful for him actually playing with me if he did not leave. It would have been that simple. Even when he does something for me that I truly wanted, he failed at it. The one thing I was desperate for. After this I just lost hope in my friendship with CC. I felt he was using me and didn't actually care about my happiness. He just found me attractive and wanted me for my body. But he did not really care about me as a person. 2 days afterwards he came over to pick up his hat that he left behind. He let me know a day before. It's a fisherman's hat and it looked like this. He came over again. We went upstairs. I tried to get him to play video games again. He still gave the same tomorrow, pushback decline as always, so I just gave up. Sometime later, he was downstairs. I stayed up because my bad ankle was hurting and I needed to rest it a little until the ibuprofen kicked in. I checked my feet and found an application for another convention for me to apply to. I filled in my application as best as I can and it took around 30 minutes. I need to put this in because it ties in later. So afterwards, I went downstairs carefully, so I don't injure my bad leg. I sat down on the couch and talked to Cece for a bit. Somehow we got into another argument. Cannot remember, but I mentioned the cell phone fiasco to him and he responded by saying how long time ago that was. As if he did tons of good things to make me forget about it, which he didn't. Maybe if he did not half-heartedly play and left during Kirby's Superstar, I could have possibly let this go. I sent him literally 10 emails of photos to his email and he cannot even get through a 10-minute game for me. The fact that I let him in my home is how generous I am and he exploits it for me and takes me for granted. And he is an older man, mind you. After a while he leaves again, this leaving nothing behind. I would like to mention that CC did not steal anything from my home at all or mess anything up in there. I am happy for that because I had house guests before who did that. Stolen bikes, stolen games, broken chairs, messed up areas, act. One of the fewest things I can give CC credit for. Few days later, for unrelated reasons, I had another turbulent trifle with family again. It escalated to the point that I was in danger of being ejected from my family home again. I panicked drastically. It got really bad. I started messaging friends about this, including CC. Some of them did not say anything when it went on and later asked if I was okay or if the situation was cooled. Others responded with waiting if the situation cools down. CC seemed to be callous and telling me again that things will be fine. Even the last time I was driven to the hospital. I told CC my worries that I might be homeless and how I felt like wanting to die again. He told me that I was immature and needed to shut the F*** up about it. After a few hours I decided that I was done with CC as a friend. I wrote down a script to tell him what I wish to talk to him about. I planned to dial to go straight to voicemail, because something CC often does is talk over me and I cannot my message across because he never really wants to listen to me. I tried calling but I dialed only his number by accident and he picked up and started talking. I did properly this time and left him the voicemail. I still have the script of what I told him. But he called me back after the first line of the second page. If I can remember when I think that's where it was. CC might have the voicemail itself but I don't. Here is the script of the voice message. He got the first page and at least the first sentence of the second one. I censored out 2 sentences, because it explicitly mentions a method of suicide, and I think it is so horrifying in its detail that I must leave it out. I also used profanity in the message itself. I've decided to leave out profanity in these posts for the sake of professionalism. But the link picture do have profanity that I stated, as I was very livid at the time I wrote that. That's it. I'm beeping tired of you. I'm blocking you on social media, your phone number, and your email. I don't want to beeping talk to you in the street, either. I have to send you a voicemail, because this is one of the biggest beeping problems with you. You keep beeping talking over me. And why don't you want to play video games with me? I let you in my home and this is what I get? Next time next week. You sound like my parents. Always pushing plans away. Parents. Always pushing plans away. Why do you think I let you touch me like that? It's because I am desperate for local friends for video games. I'd pay for this if I had the money. You didn't even move on the controller too much. You're really not interested. If I was given a favor to play video games with, I'd put in effort even if I hated video games. I'd do that for friends. Not you because you only think about yourself. And when I feel like killing myself because I am going to be homeless, you call me immature about it? I hate my life and I'm horrible for wanting it to end? How inconsiderate can you be? Censored. Explicit suicide reference. How am I bad for suggesting a phone? I had to use birthday money to replace a broken phone. Those things are expensive. I was not calling you poor. Where did you get that idea? Why did I tell you that I had a girlfriend? Because I didn't want to see you again. I thought you would leave me alone if you got the hint. I don't give a beep anymore. I'm cutting you off my life forever. Goodbye. When he called me, I told him how done I am with him and I never wanted to be friends with him again. Although, we did get into a shouting match over the phone. I don't remember what was said by him. I hung up and blocked his phone. I went into a blocking spree on social media and email. I thought if I marked it as spam, he would say whatever he wanted and I could ignore it. This would later cost me a ton. I also deleted emails, which also was a bad idea, too. But keep in mind, I had no idea what he would do weeks later. After that, I turned off my phone because quite frankly I did not want to break it again. Looking back a few days after, I certainly don't feel that way now for CC. He deserves all my rage. I felt horrible being mean to CC. I really don't like being mean to people. I wish to be the nicest I can possible. But CC exploited me. He asked me tons of favors and I consented to let him hug me. But he could not be bothered to play games with me and when he does he quits halfway through. And all his overblown temper tantrums directed at me for very minor slights perceived at his end, such as the phone situation and the laughing situation. And keep in mind, the friendship started when he went out of his way to approach me and reached out to me. Not the other way around. He came to me. So I had to be the bad guy for my own sake. I needed to get rid of people like him. It was for my own good. Hours after my phone call, my family started making arrangements to get out of the home. They were researching programs to have me live somewhere. Maybe a group home or something. The next day they seemed to be calm and changed their mind. We came into an understanding and I apologized for what I did. Things did go back to normal, but the day before I had no idea. Also, my family never researched group homes before. This was the first. One thing that happened a few days after my injury is that I got accepted to work a gig job. I got some weird emails and even asked my friends, including CC, what certain words meant. Last call, if you are wondering. When I applied I was in good condition. So when I got accepted, I was injured. I was hoping I could heal enough to be able to work. I had an MRI done to see how my ligaments were in my injured ankle. I had to use the library to print the paperwork out afterwards. I checked my email and CC had sent me an email and it somehow went through my main folder for some reason. This is the email I got. The message at the bottom is what he said and the message at the top is my response. Again, we both use profanity. You have some nerve treating me like that and leaving that voicemail. I wasn't a friend to you? I didn't listen to you rant and rave every time you wanted to kill yourself? Remember when you threw yourself onto my living room floor, screaming like a little beep? Remember that? You are an ungrateful person and you don't deserve my time. He was friend to me. I loved how he went out of his way to talk to me and was there for me, once. But notice that was past tense. Was. Yes, he did listen to my ravings. But so did others. He was acting as if he was the only friend I had who did this with. He was one of multiple people I shared my grievances with. He even met one of my friends in person, too. But also, these friends helped more than CC. They have played games with me, too, when they had the time. I would have not needed help from CC, if they still had the same amount of free time they have now. And with the exception of Jay, they also don't attack me for trivial reasons like CC does, especially not with the crazy level of sensitivity and insecurity CC goes after me for. And I threw myself with others too. Especially after the crap he puts me through much later. He was the ally in a past drama, and later he becomes a massive problem. I did the same thing he described with the floor, with another friend from the horrible invasive crap CC hurts me with. Specifically the harassment. CC acts as if he is the special, unique, amazing friend, and has no self-awareness whatsoever. Ungrateful person and you don't deserve my time. This one is funny, especially considering what he does in the next chapter. So I sent a reply to him with this. Good riddance. Don't ever beeping talk to me again to my face. I don't ever want to see you anymore. He sent me something else as a reply and I deleted it. I also moved the email into the spam folder. It was later forwarded for preservation. I did a lot of the paperwork for my next job. I needed to get a new ID. I went to the DMV and after I got everything straightened out, I sat in the park for a little while and the beggar junkie from before came up to me. Apparently he forgot about our last argument and asked me for money again. I turned him down and hobbled away. I later found that my ankle ligaments were good from the results of the MRI, which was days away from my first working day. A day before that day started, I was able to walk again.
Comments.
What kind of broke dinosaur needs their pics sent to their email? I never needed to do that. He also never played video games and likes RKC and pretends to like them. I think he dropped his hat on purpose, abandoned it, and claimed it as an accident. He stayed the other day. He also cannot handle sensitive situations. Should have not let him in on it. What you said was all right. But your handwriting is shit. Why did you put in the suicide thing though? Ungrateful. Hypocritical projection at its finest.
Clearly he did not truly love you. Sorry that he left you halfway through. What a cruel man he is. But please seek help for your depression issues. You don't deserve to die.
I sympathize with you greatly. Both physically and mentally. I had moments of suicidal ideation, too. I also had injuries on my legs, too. I had broken a foot and both ankles in some different cases. As for CancerChaser, fuck him. Seriously. He cannot even play video games, either. He only wants sex. Nothing else. He asks for favor after favor, but cannot hold his own side of the bargain. He can go straight to fucking hell.
You relayed emails to him when he needed them. You let him into your house when you couldn't come because you were hurt. And yet, he was inconsiderate to your feelings. He harassed you through email. Worst of all, refused your video game favors and did not want to play Spring Breeze with you and left halfway after you convinced him? This guy is the fucking Antichrist scum of the earth. He needs to be nobody's friend. He deserves no friends. He is an abusing monster of a person. He deserves all hate he gets. Spring Breeze is one of the shortest games in existence. It's literally the original Kirby's Dream Land missing one level. And this CancerChaser cannot be bothered to play more than 2 levels and only use the control pad. He needs to be chilling with the dark matter and deep space. Why did you bring him to your crib? You don't deserve it. Shit. Should have told to wait his queer ass until you heal up. He don't deserve shit.